Alright, what's up, family? Let's get it in. I have been trying to make time to go outdoors and do this video, but the weather lately has not been permitting. But nonetheless, we're going to get this knowledge in. So, let's go ahead and talk about the significance of the 3, 6, and the 9. I've gotten some video requests on this, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you a bit of the significance of the 3, the 6, and the 9, why they could be, say, arguably the most important, most significant numbers, and how to use them to your advantage when it comes to being able to manipulate the universe, if you will, or get things to go your way. If you understand this. All right, so let's get right into it. The number 3, I'm sure you've heard that the number 3 is a magic number. 3 is a magic number. Yeah, it really is. Okay, 3, 6, and 9 are all very magical numbers. But see, 3 is pretty interesting because 3 is kind of like the number of intelligence in a way. Now, all of these numbers could arguably be, say, numbers of significant intelligence. But if you look at like the most outstanding pieces of architecture, for example, if you're looking at the pyramids, right, and how they've got these pyramids built all over the world, and it's kind of amazing. Like, wow, how did they do this? Obviously, a pyramid is a three-dimensional form of the two-dimensional shape, which is a triangle. So a triangle, obviously, tri means three. So a triangle has 3 points, 3 angles, or what have you. So it's pretty interesting when you think about the fact that anytime that you're mathematically thinking about the number 3, anytime you multiply 3 by anything, you always end up getting 3, 6, or 9. Now, this is actually going to be a significance that I point out with the 3, the 6, and the 9, and how things always end up tying back into itself when it comes to these 3 numbers in particular. But, for example, if you multiply 3 by 3, 3 times 3 is 9, okay? If you take 3 to the 4th power, 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, 12. And then 1 and 2, 1 plus 2 is 3. If you know how to add up the numerology, anytime you get a number with 2 numbers of 2 digits, you just add those together until you end up with one number. Same thing if it's more, but just if you're on this video, you probably already understand how to add up the numerology, but I don't like to assume anything. So anyways, you ever heard somebody say third time is the charm? It's kind of interesting how anytime you try something, if it doesn't work the first time, it'll probably fail the second time too. But it seems like for some strange reason, the third time you do something, it's like, all right, now it'll work. I think it's pretty ironic. But just to tell you like a bit of the significance of the number 3 as far as different societies and whatnot, have you ever noticed that in Christianity they have the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and then the Holy Spirit? Or in ancient Egyptian culture, you've got the Egyptian triad, you got the Hindu trimurti. It goes really far back. Anytime you're looking at these different societies as far as how they think of the higher intelligences, for example, the Rama, the Visuddha, and the Shiva. When it comes to the Hindu religion, the Tao or the Taoism, and all of these different properties of intelligence, they've always got, for some strange reason, it seems to often be 3 different levels or 3 different aspects of the self, or 3 different aspects of the all that is. So keep that in mind. You ever notice that there's 12 months in a year? 1 plus 2 is 3. If you divide that 12 by the different seasons, you got winter, spring, summer, fall. Every season lasts 3 months. So, I could do this all day with all these numbers. But anyways, I'm going to get into the number 6 now. And towards the end of this video, we're going to talk about how to use all of these numbers to your advantage. Okay, so number 6. 6 is what mathematically we might call a perfect number, but I'm just going to go ahead and keep on flowing through this. All right, a cube would have 6 sides, which is pretty interesting because when you're looking at these 3-dimensional shapes, anytime you're looking at these 3-dimensional shapes, you got to recognize what it is that stands out about them. When it comes to the 3, 6, and the 9, the most outstanding shapes, not counting the sphere, for example, because it has no sides, they always got a significance with the 3, the 6, and the 9. Anytime you're talking about something that has to do with a vortex or something having any kind of balance, to be able to build a structure that has a sense of stability, it has to have things like this. That's why oftentimes when a house is being built, it's built in the shape of a cube, and then they end up putting what on top? They put a triangle on top, or a pyramid type shape, like the roof. Let's just keep going though. So with the number 6, if you multiply 6 exponentially, so say you do 6 to the third power, 6 times 6, 36. 36 times 6 equals 9. Again, this happens all the time. You could do this so many times over, and it's always going to end up tying itself into 3, 6, and 9, 3, 6, and 9, 3, 6, and 9. You can multiply or divide any of these numbers into each other, into themselves, and it's always going to end up resulting back in the same thing. That's not by coincidence. So when you're looking at the different tones of an octave in music, I got my keyboard over here. If you look at the different tones in an octave is just one section of keys. So if I'm on my keyboard and I start at the C, I got C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay. Now, if we're looking at this, we could say that anytime we're looking at the letters in an octave, there's 6 whole tones in an octave. So anytime that we get to the 6th whole tone, which would be the white keys, we're able to get back to the number 6, and then the next octave starts. I hope you're able to keep up here. Okay, so with the number 9, try not to stretch this out too much with too many numbers and too much mathematics to make your head spin. The number 9 rules all. So if you go back to my video talking about the metaphysics of numbers and the origin of nature, or however I put it, I'll put it in the cards. But the number 9 rules everything. So anytime that you try to utilize the highest energy, it would be the energy of the 9. So the 9, as I described before, it's got the wholeness at the top, and then it goes downward, because the whole would be the circle. Anytime you think of a whole, you might think of a round shape. That's the reason why. Because if something is wholesome, it would have to be rounded, well-rounded. Something being well-rounded would end up coming down into a lower intelligence to get a higher perspective on itself. That's kind of like what we do whenever we're introspecting and we're looking to see what our weaknesses are. That's like the highest intelligence. That's the most intelligent thing you can do, is self-analyze. So the number 9 rules all. It consumes everything else. So that's why a lot of the times with these numbers, 3 and 6, they always end up turning back into the number 9. But if you're looking at it in the world, you're looking at the numbers, for example, 432. If you listen to healing frequencies, a lot of the time they'll be on the frequency of 432 hertz. That is the frequency of the universe. That is the balanced frequency. And I could do an entire video talking about how the standard for tones has been changed and manipulated and altered in a negative fashion. But to focus on this, 6 plus 3 plus 2 equal 9 once again. If you look at the Catholic religion and they use these rosaries, they have rosaries that have a bunch of beads on them, and it actually has 108 beads on it. 108 equals 9. 1 plus 0 plus 8 equals 9. And it's just always, anytime that people are aware of what's going on, they normally end up integrating the 3, the 6, and the 9, especially the 9, whenever they want something to be well-rounded or completed or wholesome. Now, when it comes to manipulating these numbers to use to your advantage, when it comes to being able to create your reality, this is the advice I've got. Anytime that there's something that you know that you desire, you can remind yourself of it 3, 6 to 9 times. You can write something down. For example, if I know I want some fancy new glasses, I need some new glasses. All right, now these personally are blue light glasses, and this is just to filter out the blue light when I'm looking at my different screens so that I protect my eyes. So, but when it comes to my regular vision, I got perfectly good vision. But staying on the subject, the number 3 could be utilized when I write down, okay, I have fancy new glasses. Okay, I could write that down 3 times. This is the advice that I would give you though. Don't stop there. Write it down 3 times right now, and then maybe 3 times today, write it 3 times. So today you would write down 3 times, I have fancy new glasses. Okay. Tomorrow you could write it down 6 times. Okay. 3 times a day. Or 6 times a day. And it depends on how you want. The more you do it, the more powerful it is for your subconscious mind. But the whole point is, anytime that you do something repetitively, it becomes second nature to you. Do you remember in school, if somebody got in trouble, they would have to write on the chalkboard something like, I would not talk during class, over and over and over again? It's the same concept here. The pen is a very powerful tool. So if you continuously write down, I have fancy new glasses, and you do it 3 times, and then you come back and do it 6 times, and then you come back and do it 9 times. And then after you've written it down, I don't know, a total of 108 times maybe, you don't even necessarily have to do it that many times, but like I said, the more the better. But if you want to be sure that it'll work, that's how you should do it. It should end up adding up to 108. That's just my personal advice. But when you come back to it, once you're done writing it, you should recall it another 3 seconds, and then come back and do it for 6 seconds. Just read over it for 3 seconds, 6 seconds, 9 seconds, and do it 9 times a day. That is how you download stuff into your subconscious, because you keep coming across it and representing these numbers as far as the representation that they serve. The number 9 will represent completion. So if you do this 9 times a day, you could say that you completed your assignment for the day. So if there's something that you really want in life, write it down. Script your life. You can very literally create your life through your pen. So all you got to do is write a script of this movie that you're living in that we call life, and it might just come to pass, especially if you start to get your subconscious to believe it by repetitively telling yourself that you already have it. I don't want to make this video too long. That's one of the ways that you can do it, is by writing. But there are many, many ways to utilize this when it comes to your everyday life. So, for example, I don't want you to get like too obsessed with these numbers 3, 6, and 9, because you should still be able to live fluently. But if you're going to say eat some grapes, maybe eat them in multiples of 3. Or if you're going to go on a trip, make sure that you look out for 3 people whom you get gifts for when you bring them back. If you go grab some souvenirs, get 3 souvenirs when you were just going to get 2 or something like that. That's ways that you could integrate it and be able to make the, should I say, proper amount of ripples in the universe in order for things to be balanced enough, because remember that the triangle has everything come back into itself. So if everything is starting at the higher intelligence and working its way down, as you can see with the, say, the shape of the Merkaba, or the Merkaba as people say, it's one triangle, and then it's another triangle coming in on it. So it might start off with this triangle going from the higher intelligence, and then the lower intelligence would come after that, and it would layer on top of it, so that you might come up with the Star of David. Even if you're looking at this quote-unquote Star of David, you look at how many points it has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you look at the inside of it, it's got more triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This right here, obviously, is not a triangle in the center. Okay, but anyways, let's just go ahead and wrap this up. If you got any questions, we can make sure to address them in the comment section. And until next time, have a great one, everyone.